Hey everyone, Grayson the Bard here, and welcome back for day 83 of the Hunt-A-Day. Today, we are going to be fighting one of my favorite monsters in Frontier, I think, just based on design, combat mechanics, and its, combat gimmick. And even though Poborubarumu is 100% my favorite monster in Frontier, the monster we're fighting today is definitely up there in the top 5 Frontier monsters, and it is Berukiorosu. Berukiorosu is a flying wyvern, so similar in frame and skeleton to the Rathalos, Rathian, Astalos, those kind of monsters, using the predominantly thunder element, and its most predominant feature is its massive tendrils coming off of the whips, or coming off of its wings that act as whips. And I actually, because I went spoiler-free for Monster Hunter Wilds after the release date trailer in September. So one of the last things I saw, and I only watched that trailer once or twice. So when I saw for the first time the flagship monster, and you see it for the first time flying with its back to you, and I saw the wing whips, I immediately started freaking out, because I had seen this thing before. I'd never fought it, but I'd seen it. I was like, oh shit, Berukiorosu is back, and turns out I was very wrong. But when we get to talking about if I think this monster is going to return into the wilds, that'll come back, so keep that in your back pocket. It's a secret tool that'll help us later. I really like the design of Berukiorosu. I think it is the perfect combination of, over-the-top frontier creature and, naturalistic animal. When Frontier hits, it hits hard. This thing is the most Monster Hunter creature that I could possibly imagine. It takes a traditional draconic form, combines it with very avian bird elements. The wings have these kind of scale looking feathers to them. It has a big long beak, and then amplifying that up to 100 with stuff like the wing whips and the big spike coming off of the top of its head. It's, the spike growths coming off of its back. It looks really cool. I love how this thing looks. And the wing whips are not just for show. They are used in a majority of its attacks, and they have their own hitboxes, which means, the traditional dodges you might be able to do to get out of the way of a wing slap or a turn. You have to account for the massively increased size of the attack with those wing whips, and it catches me off guard a fair number of times. It uses electricity. It has a lot of different projectile-based attacks. It has, your standard Rajang laser beam straight out towards you, which it fires off up to 3 times in a row, I think. And it also has big aerial dive bombs that result in an electric explosion at the end. I think my favorite thing it does is it has, when it flies at you, it'll leave these kind of whirlpools of electricity behind it that will start to move around the arena to kind of make you pay a little more attention to where you're moving so that you don't get, stuck in these things. But the coolest thing, the absolute most interesting thing about Berukiorosu is it is programmed to react to what weapons you bring to the hunt and adjust its moveset accordingly. So, I am doing this hunt right now with Tanfa and with, a bunch of NPC hunters, one using Sword and Shield, one using Tanfa, and one using Dual Blades. This fight that I did here was significantly different in moveset and, the way the fight went, compared to when I did it, not recording with Greatsword. Apparently, when you bring, bigger, slower, heavy-hitting weapons like Greatsword, it will try and get away from you more often, and it will try and stay away and use more projectiles. Whereas if you apparently bring, faster, faster-hitting weapons, it's going to be right up in your business, and it's going to try and, take you down with more, physically aggressive moves and with bigger AoE attacks, because it's anticipating that everyone is going to be kind of right up next to it. And I talked about this when I talked about some other monsters. I don't remember exactly which, but any monster that adapts to what you are throwing at it and changes its move patterns up to what you are bringing to the table, I think that is the coolest shit in Monster Hunter, and I really want them to continue to go hard on that, especially now with the increased power that is available to the developers and the more advanced things they can do with the AI of monsters in this generation of gaming. I would love to see, maybe it doesn't just adapt to like a weapon style, it adapts to specific weapons. It has moves that maybe you will only see if you're bringing in a hunting horn. Maybe it'll like try and focus down hunting horn players so that they can't, buff the party. Or it will, if it sees a hunting horn player go into performance mode, it'll immediately shift focus to whoever it was attacking to that player. Stuff like that. That would be awesome. And I think, with the level of programming they're able to do now, especially since they were able to pull off something very similar in Frontier in a game that was made, years ago for, at the start, an engine based off of a PS2 game, I 100% think they could make something amazing and special. So I really want Barukirosu to come back. It is a monster that I want. I say this for a lot of monsters because I do really like all of them, but Barukirosu, even though I want to see Poborubarumu back the most, Barukirosu is a monster that it is a little bit above that. I want this thing back. I want to fight this thing so bad in a new mainline game. And I think Wilds is a great game for it to show back up in for a couple reasons. One, I think it fits the aesthetic of Monster Hunter Wilds with the very more naturalistic creature that has the fantasy elements attached to it. I think it looks good. And the more superficial and kind of weird reason is similar to how, because the flagship monster is a monster that the guild previously thought was extinct, I think that opens up the door for origin species to come back. Because the flagship also has wing whips, I think that opens up the door for Barukirosu to make an appearance. They already got wing whips coded into the game, they just need to flap them around a little bit different, and bada bing bada boom, you're good to go. So I'm going to say a 10 out of 10. I am calling my shot. We are going to see Barukirosu in Wilds. And if we don't, I will, eat something weird. Probably not, though. You can't make me. You're not my dad. And that's that. In terms of returning in a future game, similarly, I think people really like Barukirosu, so I'm going to say a 10 out of 10 for returning in a future game, non-Wilds as well. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to wrap up the ramble here. Please stick around until the end of the fight if you can. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Don't if you don't. And until next time, I'll see you next time.